Hi everybody, it's Brian again. This is the Har'akir episode. This domain's existed since the box set. I'm going to be using today when I speak, 5th edition. This version of the box set I got off the drive-through RPG because my ex did not like Dungeons and Dragons, and I kind of had to get rid of all my D&D stuff back when I was married. But now that I'm not, I'm getting all that stuff back and spending a lot of money doing so. And of course, 3rd edition. They changed Har'akir a little bit. There was also a video game in the 90s which I played, and it was one of the video games I actually finished. Also, Strahd's Gift I finished. That was the first one. That one came out when I was in college. I think the Stone Prophet came in after. I think. Anyway, Ankh-Pot, he, in the original lore, was kind of considered a disaster if he woke. So he was asleep most of the time, and it was sort of like a foreboding, terrifying thing for him to actually wake from his slumber and come out. He also was looking for his humanity. He wanted to be human again and not an undead thing. And to do that, he would have to sacrifice a person, and then he could be human for one day, and then he went back to his undead state. They got rid of that. I actually don't mind the Ka thing, searching for his Ka. That seems fine. That's okay. But, you know, they because of the way they're doing 5th edition now, they needed to pinhole Har'akir into a specific category of horror, and they decided to go with dark fantasy. And Har'akir kind of exists in a Bronze Age society, and I don't think that's the way it is now. It's just sort of slightly Egyptian theme. I really don't like the new artwork of Ankh-Pot. He looks like a robot. And it doesn't look really Egyptian from his decorations at all. I mean, I've been to Egypt. My nephews were born in Egypt. I've had family that lived in Egypt. They're not doing a very faithful reproduction of Egypt. If Muhar was related to Cairo at all, it wouldn't be just mud huts. Even in the Bronze Age. So, what I recommend you do, you could still do dark fantasy. You could have him being this undead king of these people if you really want to. I wouldn't do it that way, but if you wanted to. But I would get a bunch of, get children's books about ancient Egypt with pictures and stuff like that, and use that as a basis of what Muhar and the cities in Har'akir look like, so you can get something that is easy to understand. They have pictures, and you can. I mean, it won't. I doubt it'll be 100% accurate, but it'll be a hell of a more accurate than 5th edition. Pyramids are actually kind of boring if you've ever gone down inside one. I have. It reminded me going down is a very hot basement. It's basically because they've, since taken all the stuff out of there. And very steep, like you're going down ladders about like at this angle, kind of like the angle of the roof of my attic here. It's like this. So it's really hard to walk down, and you could actually trip and fall all the way down really easy. But they're worth going to. Go to Egypt and see the pyramids. Go to the the Thing of Kings. Go there. go to Luxor, go on a cruise of down the Nile like I did. Just don't eat the produce like I did, because I got really sick, and I can say I've actually puked. I've puked in a temple of Sobek. I can say that. I don't know how many people can. I have puked in the temple of Sobek. So I actually like the animal-headed mummies. I think that's good. I would put this all into almost like mini bosses. I would have him as a threat that's in the background. He's not Mum-Ra. He is the mummy. You can say he's the mummy from the Brandon Fraser's mummy movies. He didn't rule everything, but he's a threat. He's like almost a force of nature, a disaster on two legs. If you go back and you see the original one with Boris Karloff, which you should, you can also watch the other ones with Clarice, because those are kind of funny. Actually, the last couple are actually I kind of like those, even though I know that the timeline is all screwed up. I like those movies. But yeah, definitely watch the one with Boris Karloff, because it makes him a villain with the depth and a sense. What's that word? An elegance to him that you get with Count Dracula. You get this with Boris Karloff's portrayal of the mummy. It's worth it. Also, look at the Jewel of the Seven Star movies. Now, understand, Universal Egypt is not real Egypt. Again, get research. Look at what Bronze Age Egypt used to be. Remember, Cleopatra wasn't an Egyptian. She was a Greek, and her family was put in charge of Egypt by Alexander the Great. So don't comply on visions of Cleopatra. She wasn't Egyptian. She might have some Egyptian in her, but her family was put in there by Alexander the Great. Also, in the old days, even back as third edition, it was a cluster of other Bronze Age desert theme things. There was another. Here's the thing here. There was another land called Sebula, which had another mummy, but this mummy was not desiccated. She looked like an actual person, named Tiet, I believe, and she had a desire to eat people's hearts, but no one was around. And if someone came close, you could hear their heart beating, and then she was craving their heart. And otherwise, it was just children in there, and you had to find the actual true heir to that kingdom to reverse the curse. It would be an interesting little, if you go to Har'akir, to find yourself in that kingdom and have to deal with that. Go to the Fraternity of Shadows or the Mystopedia and look some up for possible other ideas. Pharasia was sort of this kind of Middle Eastern thing. It was like a religious land where the Dark Lord became this angelic being, and he persecutes anybody who doesn't follow his religion, and then at night he assumes a decayed form of that angelic thing and attacks people and is very spooky. Again, I would make Har'akir more towards the Bronze Age, and I would make Ankh-Tophat more of a threat, like the fear of an earthquake or the fear of a hurricane or a volcano. He's Mount St. Helens. He's not the ruler. He's the Mount St. Helens that's just waiting to explode. And I would go that way, and I would make those mummies maybe his minions, maybe mummies that the mummies are trying to raise him from his slumber. That might be interesting, and maybe they're in charge of cults of people who are trying to cause Ankh-Topaz to wake again. I think that would be a lot more interesting than their dark fantasy with this undead king. Which, again, I like the Ka thing, and maybe if he does rise, and maybe that can happen in the beginning of your adventure, he then is searching for his Ka. That might work. Maybe the players are accidentally cause him to come back to life. I don't know when my next video is going to be. It's going to be on Haslin. I have some good ideas for that. I don't think there's going to be much needed changing. Just an explanation how you got one side to the other. I probably won't be tomorrow. I'm doing something that's probably not going to make me want to do this. So maybe the weekend. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you.